Hello everyone, welcome one and welcome all to the season opening race for Formula Pals Season 2. How's everyone doing today? We're in for a really great race here today in the Canadian Grand Prix. We're just at the end of practice here, wrapping things up for the warm-up. A 20-minute qualifying session is set to take part here shortly. And then a 45-minute race. We've got 22 competitors in today on 11 teams. All teams have put in their custom livery for their custom car, the Formula Pals vehicle. And everyone has been very excited to get going for today's race. It's going to be a great one, I can already tell. Take a quick peek at the practice timesheet before we look at all of the teams that will be competing in today's event. Well, we'll see that Milt is at the top of the leaderboard. Milt is one of the main contributors in creating this vehicle. And the field is rather competitive in between that 1.5 to 2.5 seconds off of the lead. We're going to see about half the field competing there in the mid-pack. It's going to be a very interesting race, and there's always something interesting happening at the back of the field as well. So we'll be covering all of the race, all of the angles, and from all positions as well. Well, while everyone finishes up their final practice laps and the server flips over to the qualifying mode, let's take a peek through the teams that we have scheduled to compete today. Alright, so for Season 2 of Formula Pals, this is the roster for the season that we have set up so far. Our first team is Spectre Racing. Driving for Spectre Racing this season is Darkius and Deep Cuts. Second team up is QUALI Racing, sponsored by our favorite Japanese mayonnaise brand. Drivers for this team include Aaron Fiedlak and Trans Baconist. Up next, we have the Waifu Hunters. Very recognizable out on the track with their black, pink, and waifu-covered cars. These cars will be driven by Cinch and Suicidal Cookie. The next newest team to Formula Pals is Red Cat Racing. Drivers for Red Cat Racing are Luna Moon and Golium. And their sister team, Cato Rosso. We've got Squid 23 and Grimlocky driving for that team. Up next, we've got Full Steam Racing. Drivers for this team competed last year under a different name. They've reformed, and we'll see Train Boy and Trev Hummer competing together to bring their Amtrak passenger trains at high speed to Victory Lane. Up next, we have the Sunday Drivers. We've got Dion and Tom driving for them. The next team is Hot Fuzz. I'm a big fan of this team's logo. It just brings a smile to my face every time. We've got the Newbie 101 and Gons driving for Hot Fuzz. The next team we have is the Penguin Virtuosos, the powerhouse from last year. Looking to make an impact again this year. Drivers for this team are Jort and Milt. And the sister team for the Virtuosos, the Penguin Aficionados, will have Husky and Oderdorp driving for that team. And last, but certainly not least, we have Team IPOS. Drivers for Team IPOS are Letra Sloth and Subnai. And if I'm hearing correctly, it looks like cars are starting to roll their way out onto the racetrack now. We'll flip back over to that. I'll set my car up appropriately. look at one of these cars here. Here we go, a nice big pack. Oh gosh, it's not going to let me change that, is it? Alright, we'll run with this head up just for a little bit as the times come in. Then I'll be able to click on the scoreboard to bounce between drivers here. We'll follow along with Transbaconist on his outlap. And we'll enjoy the show. I'll pull my my Twitch chat up as well, just in case anyone does decide to say hello. I'll be able to say hello back. All right, good to see you, Automated Luxury. Thanks for stopping in. While we're waiting for the times to populate on people's outlaps and first laps out, let's take a quick look at the track map for today's event. So there's a lot of turns here at Villeneuve, and unfortunately, none of them are really named other than perhaps the Wall of Champions and Senator number 2. So I'll just be calling out a bunch of turn numbers today. So take a good moment to recognize the turn numbers, which turn is where, so that we're all on the same page together. Where we'll be looking for action is turns 3 and 4. This fast right-left chicane is going to really separate the men from the boys, if you will. The fastest drivers are going to be really pushing through that section of the track, which might mean we see a couple cars touch the wall out of turn 4. Another place we'll be seeing a lot of action is the hairpin, turn 10. There's a long, high-speed run-up into this hairpin. You might see it in Formula 1, you might see it in smaller sections of racing, but there's always a move to be made there. And then a very, very long straight all the way down to turn 14 and 15. Another right-left chicane known for the Wall of Champions that many Formula 1 champions have smashed into. Attempting to bring as much speed as possible through that set of chicanes. There's some pretty tall, tall curbs on the insides of the rumble strips there. So if a driver goes in too aggressively, we might see a couple of drivers airborne, or at the very least, their cars upset as we try to get as much as possible out of these vehicles. Let's see, still waiting on times to come in, so I will bounce back to our other view. All right, let's follow along with Grim Loki. Wait for the times to start rolling in. We'll be able to start following that as along. I've also got a live timing sheet up as well. Unfortunately, it looks like the timing sheet is updating with lap times, and it's not quite copying over to my screen. I'll work on this for a moment to figure out what we can do. Currently, Letra Sloth has the fastest time in qualifying, a 1:49.7. It is definitely far from over in qualifying. We saw some faster times in practice. So it's just a placeholder. He's got a good banker lap in. We'll see some fast times coming, I'm certain. If only I could get the heads-up display to work correctly. I was wanting it to. Here we go. Okay, Now they're starting to populate. We'll follow along with Aaron Fiedlech for his lap. He's put in a banker time, about 150.4, as we see some more times coming in. And, ooh, Fiedlech goes hard into the right-left at turns 3 and 4, and that's going to spoil his run. Meanwhile, we have a new name atop the qualifying sheet here. We have Thomas Jack. Puts in a very solid 49.2. We'll follow along with him, see if he can improve on this lap. And through the first sector, he is up less than a tenth, but that's a solid sign. If he had some time to gain in the second and third sectors, he will definitely be putting in a strong lap. Let's see what else he can make of this lap. He is running into a little traffic. I'm not sure if that's going to slow him down or aid in the slipstream. We've reached the hairpin. We're on turn 10. This might be exactly what he's hoping for if a big slipstream is in order. We're probably going to see some slipstream trains as well, with everyone trying to build up as much speed as possible down these long straights. Jack a tenth up now, coming through down the long final straight. Coming into the Wall of Champions, the final turn before the line. If he can hit this consistently, he might put an even faster time up here. Hard over the curbs. There's a Waifu Hunter's car that gets in his way on the exit, but looks like he was going still with good speed. Here he comes to the line, and he improves by a tenth and a half. So that brings the pole time down to 49.1. With more cars to follow, drivers going back to the pits to refresh their tires, refresh their fuel loads. They're likely running on minimum fuel to get every ounce of speed out of these vehicles that they can. We'll come on over to Letra Sloth. He has just put in a lap, so we'll follow along to see if he can put in one that's a little more competitive than the one he's posted so far. He's got a 49.4 as we see Suicidal Cookie bounce up into third place with a solid lap. Okay, and here he comes into the fast right-left, turns 3 and 4. Aggressive but quite composed. There's a car slow out of the way here on the next turn, turn 5. It's the slow left and right here. Looks like he is fighting a little bit to keep that back end in check. Drivers this year have a lot more setup options compared to last year, especially with the aerodynamics of the car. And with the speed potential of these vehicles down the super long straight, drivers are probably looking to minimize the aerodynamic drag that they're putting by putting lower numbers of downforce. It's all a fine-tuning balance act. You've got to balance dependability and assurance of the vehicle with speed. The faster you go, the less stable you're going to be. Coming now to the chicane before the Wall of Champions, the final turn. Let's see how it goes. Hard over both of the curbs, but not too far out to the wall. He's still pushing hard towards the line. Might be a good one here. I cannot believe that. All right, a 49.1. He's tied Jack. Is that correct? I think he is tied. He may have beaten him by less than a 10,000th of a second, and that's why he's up on the lead. Wow. Okay, so it is neck and neck here at the top of the qualifying sheet. Let's hop over to Jack here, see if he can respond on the following lap. Going through 6 and 7, One of those Red Cat cars does a good job of keeping out of the way. You can see the turning left and right of the wheel as they're coming out of just a right-hand turn. Jack has got as little aerodynamic downforce in the back of this vehicle as he can get to maximize that top speed going down the straights of this fast Canadian circuit. All right, down the fast, gentle left into the hairpin, turn 10. Gonna go hard onto the brakes. You see that suspension bend under the weight transfer. Nice and composed coming out of that turn. He might have a little bit of slipstream with the car ahead, just a little too far ahead to make out. I'm not sure if he'll be able to get the benefit of the slipstream. That's not going to stop him from trying to put in a fast lap here, or is it? He's off throttle. Yes, he wasn't happy with the lap, so he's going to try to put in another one, and a Red Cat has spun just in front of him there. That didn't look good. Is that Luna Moon? Yes, unfortunately, Luna Moon's put the car around through the chicane 13 and 14. But it looks like a plan has come of this, and the Red Cats are now going to work together to try to put in a fast time. 7 minutes, 45 seconds left in qualifying. Still plenty of time to put in a fast time, and we have a tie at the top of the qualifying boards right now. Let's follow along with Milt to see if he has a response. Milt was the fastest driver in practice and was looking very speedy. He is less than a tenth of a second behind first and second, who are still tied, putting him in third place for now. This may be a throwaway lap for Milt. He doesn't seem to be pushing all out here. Coming into the hairpin. At turn 10, he'll have the long casino straight to go down before the chicane turn 13-14. Now I say that this may be a throwaway lap, but if I caught that correctly, he might be up on his fastest lap. Perhaps nice, easy, and controlled is the fastest way through this track. Looking quite comfortable, maximizing the amount of space near the Wall of Champions. He's going to come to the line. Let's see where that puts him. And yes, Milt takes pole position with a 48.9, breaking that 49-second mark. Just under a tenth of a second. That still leaves Letrosloth and Jack tied for second and third place. We'll follow along with Milt. If he can get a positive delta on his Sector 1 time, we'll continue to follow along. The Penguin Virtuoso's car looking great. White, orange, and black. Very solid. And he is almost 2.5 tenths up on his Sector 1 time. This could be a very strong lap coming here. Let's ride along with Milt again. This could be the pole-setting lap here. If Milt can put one together, he is already looking very strong. Coming down to the turn 10 hairpin. Oh, he goes a little wide. He's trying to cut back to carry that speed along. How's his time at Sector 2 looking? Now he is up in Sector 2. So he was 2 tenths faster through Sector 1, 2 tenths slower through Sector 2. Unless he has a perfect chicane here, I don't know if this is going to put in a faster lap. Looked a little nervous through there. Let's see how the time wraps up. A 48.9 to beat. And it is just a little bit over and it won't go through, or that lap was disallowed due to track limits. We'll bounce around to another competitor here. Darkius has just put in a fast lap. A 49.0, a high 49.0, and that will put him ahead of the tied competitors of Fletcher Sloth and Tom Jack. That Team Spectre vehicle with the dark purple and black and accented with light blue. He might have some slipstream coming down the Casino Straight. Looks like he is almost a 10th up on this lap, so if he can time this perfectly, like he has, this might be a new pole lap. Let's see how he goes through the chicane before the Wall of Champions. Hard over the chicane, he'll have the slipstream. Will that count? Oh, so close. Less than a 10th of a second slower than the lap he had already put in. Oh, and he's being quite held up by the car ahead. I don't think he'll be able to put in a faster lap. Milt and Dark, almost identical times. Fletcher Sloth and Tom Jack, identical times. Let's go a little bit further down the field here. Let's see what Cinch with the Waifu Hunters is up to. He is coming to turn 13-14. Just after the Casino Straight, coming to the Wall of Champions. You see drivers are very hard over that first curb, but the second curb they're not going all the way over on. Perhaps it upsets the car too much and it's not worth any time gains. Oh, Cinch going a little hard through the first turn and sliding. So we see Grim Loki putting in a fast time, bouncing his way up to 14th. We'll continue to follow along here. Ooh, really using the most of that track. He's still got 2 tires in the grass. That might affect his time negatively. We're going to have to see how that comes out. Time beginning to run low in this qualifying session. Milt still at the top of the leaderboard, but it is still very close. Okay, here comes Cinch into the final hairpin, turn 10. Then a long, fast run down the Casino Straight. Under the Pirelli sign. Oh, a little... Oh my goodness. Yes, and a gentle tap of the Wall of Champions. And really hard over the curbs there. That was not a solid lap. Cinch's lap has been disallowed. He's going to run one more. And oh my goodness, viewers, we have a new fastest lap by quite a margin. We have Milt with a 48.396. Milt has put that Penguins Virtuoso car well above anyone else. With one lap final, with qualifying coming to an end, he is up 5.5 tenths over second place Darkius. Fletcher Sloth and Tom Jack are still locked in a tie for third and fourth place. Let's see if Milt can up on that time any more here. That would be incredible. Wonder if Milt perhaps met up with one of his teammates here. I do see another Penguins car behind him, trying to get the most of that slipstream down the straight. And I think that's what's happening. Yep, that's what's happening. Milt has slowed out of the hairpin of turn 10 for the car behind, for the other Penguin Virtuoso driver. So that's got to be Jort. Let's see if Jort can improve his time here. He's passing Milt down the long Casino Straight. If he can make it through the chicane here cleanly. Oh, he just almost. He may have wiped the lettering off of his tires there, but nothing more. Coming to the line, and Jort will put down a lap that will put him up to 5th. A 1:49, 8/10 behind the leading time of Milt. Lots of cars already completed their lap. Let's see who's left. We got Jack, a little bit wild out of the final chicane. He's put it in the wall. He's going to slow. Jort spinning his car around here. Is there anyone left here? We got Squid 23 coming in on his final. On his final lap, really trying to get the most out of the car there. And he really had some oversteer coming out and hard into the wall of champions. And that's very much slowed him down here. So that's going to complete his lap. Dion just put in a fastest lap for himself, bouncing himself up to 9th. Is there anyone on a finishing lap? I think the newbie 101 is coming in to complete his lap. Let's see where this puts him. Oh! He himself has also gone hard into that final chicane. Okay. All right, so that is going to complete qualifying. The results of qualifying up on your screen. Milt with the absolute speedy lap of a 1:48.3 takes pole, followed by, oh, and it's gone. Let's bring that back up here. So your starting order is number 1 Milt, then Darkius, Tom, Jack, and Letra Sloth tied in qualifying, but Tom wins the tiebreaker. Then we have Jort, Suicidal Cookie, Subnai, Aaron Feedlack, Dion, Squid 23, Trainboy 2005, Grim Loki, Sench, Deep Cuts, Trev Hummer, the Newbie 101, gosh, sorry, I can't remember how to pronounce that name, Jazorkin, Chiba, Luna Moon, Golium, Trans Baconus, Gons, Husky, and, well, that final name is just myself as a placeholder. Lights are getting ready to go out. Let's follow these guys as they go through. Oh, and we have a jump start. Jump starts were not a thing last season. Many drivers caught off guard. I saw another bit of movement further back in the pack. Darkius may have jumped the start there. He may have a penalty. We'll have to see what comes out of this. Milt pulls out into first place, and there is a car that cut through there. But it looks like they made it through okay. We'll pull back a little bit here. The Red Cats, and there's some action here. IPOS is around. And there's a Red Cat also around. Subnice stuck on the outside of the turn. A couple of the Red Cats, is that both Red Cats? Oh no! Red Cats in their Formula Pals debut have ended up spun around in an incident involving IPOS Racing. What an unfortunate beginning. Let's check back at the lead here. And Darkius has made a move around the outside around Milt, who is also under attack. Oh gosh. From Thomas Jack. During the fighting, Letra Sloth has gotten by. Milt still holding for second, but he's going to have Sloth come on the inside. And, a bit of a holdup there. A little bit of awkwardness. Looks like Milt is going to hold second, but he's got Tom Jack right behind him. He's going to pressure for second in the slipstream. Let's remember to keep an eye on Darkius. He might be coming into the pits to serve a jump start penalty. Not sure if if he jumped far enough to trigger the penalty. And there goes Darkius ahead into the pits to serve his penalty. That definitely caught a lot of our drivers off guard. That was not something that was allowed in the previous season. Jump starts just didn't happen. Weren't even allowed to shift into first gear before the lights went out. Aaron Feedlax put his Coupe racing into the top pack here. The first 5 all traveling closely. There was a lot of fighting up at the front early on, so now we have Tom Jack up in the lead and Milt just behind. Letra slots Suicidal Cookie up into 4th place. Then Aaron, Deep Cuts, and Dark is... Let's see, check on Darkest. I think he just may have had a drive-through penalty. He didn't lose a whole lot of time. He's less than 10 seconds, it looks like. Yes, he's actually less than 6 seconds behind the leader here. The leaders have been fighting and slowing themselves down. Both Spectre cars about to come close with one another. We'll move back up to Aaron Fiedlack, who is in a battle here with Suicidal Cookie. They go into the hairpin turn 10. Aaron's got the inside line. A little wide, but he's able to get the power down. You could see the car squirming, trying to get as much power into those rear wheels as possible. He pulls the move off, and Suicidal Cookie will now follow down to the chicane as we see Darkies get ahead of his teammate. Deep Cuts just behind, and they might be working together to try to catch this lead pack. Oh, a bit rough over those curbs there, but both drivers make it through. Milt puts in a fastest lap, 14.9, or 49.9, excuse me. Let's check back a little bit further back in the field. We've got Dion. I see some damage on that nose. I wonder if Dion has met with the Wall of Champions. He has dropped down a few positions since Jort and the Newbie 10 have moved up. Ooh, and the shiny chrome nose beaten and battered. I think we may have had a collision with the wall there. Bounce back a little further back. Looks like we have Train Boy and Chiba and Gonz all close in a battle here. And hold that thought, we have a battle for the lead here. Milt and Tom are close. Milt looks inside, thinks better of it, pulls back inside. In line with Tom Jack here. Going to run. Looks like Tom takes the defensive line. Ooh, Milt really had a bunch of speed, but he goes hard into the hairpin. They're close. There may have been a bit of wheel touching there. See the car squirming so much, trying to get as much power as they can into these rear wheels down the long straight, the Casino Straight. Milt's going to look inside, or to the right side here. That'll give him the inside to the next chicane. Milt has pulled ahead. Is he going to clear him before? Yes, he does. Milt is your new leader. Jack just behind as they go into the wall, into the chicane before the Wall of Champions. Tom with a gentle brush into the wall, trying to keep the pressure on Milt. Let's see if Jack has any way to respond here. He is right on the bumper of Milt going into turn 2. Yep, he'll stay right with Milt. Looks like Train Boy was able to get ahead here of Dion. Dion's in the pits. Oh dear, he may have really damaged his vehicle here into the Wall of Champions. He is in the pits. Husky also losing some spots. Husky slow. He's facing the wrong way here. He's trying his best to get that vehicle pointed the right direction, but the turning circle is not the best. Oh! Oh, ladies and gentlemen, he may have just fried that engine. These cars are very sensitive to shifting into reverse after revving the car in neutral, and yes, I think he has killed the engine. That may be Husky's race. Oh, what a heartbreak. Gonz and Squid 23 together, battling behind. Oh, I'm sorry, that's not Squid 23 with him. They're showing 1 lap behind. That they surely can't be a lap behind at this point. So here's some friendly honking going on here as Gonz concedes the position on the track. A thank you honk coming his way. Let's take a look here in the mid-pack. Subnight making a inside move here on Train Boy. Oh, and there's some contact. Oh my goodness. And Subnight's been lifted up in the air by a Koopa. Is that a Koop? Yeah, that's Koopy Racing? No, it's Koopy Racing that's gotten by. Quite the impact there. Subnight and Train Boy come out almost at identical times. I think Train Boy may have driven wide and tried to cut back and reclaim the position. And Subnight had just gotten a little bit inside there. It's one for the stewards to look at the end of the race. We're going into the chicane here. Subnight trying hard to get back his positions. The newbie 10 gets a wheel in the grass in the acceleration zone that may result in him losing a place here. Subnight looking to the left, but I don't know if he has the momentum to get through. No, he's going to pull back in line and keep his cards close to his chest. He'll play for a move later on here. We've got some close racing up for 5th place. We've got Aaron Fiedlack under attack by Darkius. Back in action after his jump start. Darkius feigns a move to the inside. Oh, and it has disrupted Aaron. A bit of a mind punt there, I think. I think Aaron got a little bit worried. That was a very aggressive move that Darkius made there, pulling out very quickly. That may have pulled Aaron's attention away from his braking point, caused him to go a little bit wide. Aaron back down to 6th. Darkius higher into 5th now. Deep Cut's not far behind the two of them. Train Boy has just made a move on Transbaconist. The Amtrak car going a little wide into the hairpin there. Got some action up at the top of the leaderboard. Milt is beginning to pull away, putting in a 48.9. I believe that's a new fastest lap. Tom and Letra Sloth a little bit slower. Remember, these two ran identical times in their qualifying stint. Identical. So these two guys have very fast cars together. It's all going to be based on how consistent they can be, how much they can avoid mistakes. We'll keep an eye on this battle here. We have a little bit of movement as cars are crossing the start-finish line. Things have begun to settle down a little bit, getting a little bit of spread. Looks like our next bit of action might be around Darkius and Suicidal Cookie, who are within a second of one another. Darkius was Team Spectre, Suicidal Cookie with the Waifu Hunters. Both very competitive racers, but Darkius is just behind Cookie and has the slipstream. Going to come into the hairpin there. Darkius very aggressive on the brakes there. He's caught right up to the back of Suicidal Cookie. He might be close enough for that slipstream to pull him past. Let's keep eyes on this battle as Grime Loki pulls past Transbaconist for 15th. We're going to ride along here. Darkius thinks about a move. He's not close enough. He's going to follow Cookie through here. Oh, and he has a bit of understeer coming out of the exit of the chicane, almost touching the wall of champions. Cookie's going to sneak away here. Darkius definitely won't be taking that sitting down, though. He will be back for more action soon. Darkius using all of that rumble strip. They're going to come to the fast right-left of 3 and 4. Dark trying to cut inside of that turn there to minimize the amount of distance he has to travel. Oh, a bit of a wiggle in the middle of 3 and 4. That is a scary spot to start to lose control of that vehicle. Cookie slides a little bit wide going through turn 6. Darkius smells blood in the water. He is right on the back of Cookie. He's going to look inside. Oh, pardon me. Pardon me. There we go. Darkius is able to clear Cookie before turn 8 here. They're going to come down. Darky is trying to break the slipstream so he can get away. They're going to come into the hairpin at turn 10. Is Cookie going to be able to stay within slipstream distance? Cookie goes hard and aggressive on the brakes. He goes a little bit wide. He's going to cut back here to try to maximize that speed down the straight. Is Cookie going to be able to catch back up here? We'll try to find a view that we can watch this battle and not offend the viewers who are younger of age. It looks like he's just a little bit too far back for the slipstream to really aid him. He's going to have to go aggressive into the chicane there. Darkies with a little wiggle on the outside trying to get the power down. Let's see, there's a lot of positions changing hand down here. What's going on here? Oh no! Looks like there's been an incident. We've got Grime Loki slow. We've got a couple of other cars slow. A lot of cars with scratches on their front ends. Perhaps all of these gentlemen were involved in an incident. But they're all going against... Let's see, looks like they're going again well. None of their cars too damaged to continue the race. Got Grime Loki making a move around the outside of Trans Baconist. Look at the inside here. Looks like Bacon lets him have the space for the move. Tries to get nice and close on the next turn. On turn 2, Senna, and it nearly caused another collision there. Enough collision, boys. Let's have a good race. Looks like we have a move up for 7th and for 13th. 7th place, Jort. Deep Cuts. Oh, Deep Cuts is slow. I think Deep Cuts may have had a moment and slid off the track there. He's getting going again. He's racing my old Spectre colors from last year. Let's see if he can not let that eat away at him and see if he can gain some of those spots back. Let's check back with Subnai. Looks like he was able to get by the newbie who has fallen back quite a bit. We've got Dion sliding around. Dion in 17th place. He's able to get going. He's lost a few spots. He's going again now. Let's see, we've got a couple of cars close here. We've got Trev Hunter and Train Boy flanking Chiba ahead and behind. We'll pull back to Chiba and Train Boy. We've got Train Boy making a move. Is he going to be able to clear him before turn 1? Go around the gentle right hand. He's got the inside for turn 2. Some damage on the right side of that vehicle. Left side and the nose. He hasn't been able to clear that vehicle yet. Okay, all right, there we go. Chiba gives him the position so that he can keep the speed through 3 and 4. He's going to follow through at high speed. Is Chiba going to allow him to pull away? Looks like he's trying to stay with him, but... oh, a big wiggle there by Train Boy under braking. Now Chiba's back all over the back end of Train Boy's vehicle. Well, we've been following along with a couple of different battles. It looks like Darkius has begun to pull away from Suicidal Cookie. And Aaron Feedlack is starting to reel in Mr. Suicidal Cookie as well. Got a big gap between Aaron, Jort, and Sench. Lots of breathing space there. Trainboy and Chiba currently the 2 closest drivers on the track. And as I say that, Dion and Bacon are close. Looks like Dion's going a little wide around the turn 10 hairpin. Bacon's going to try to hold it around the outside, and they're both going to drag race down the casino straight. Dion keeps the position, but Bacon's right in that slipstream. He may have just touched the wall there. They were jockeying back and forth trying to break the slipstream, and I wonder if Bacon wasn't able to hold it. Bacon making a move on the inside here going into the chicane. Takes a very narrow line. Oh, almost contact. It was a very aggressive move. Bacon did a good job of avoiding touching Dion there. That nearly spelled disaster for both drivers, I think. Bacon has Dion in his sights. Dion going wide into turn 2. Bacon's got the inside now. But Dion made an aggressive cutback there. May have spooked Bacon, but he's got the inside here coming around to the turn 3 and 4 complex. Oh, and Bacon just having to take that narrow line. His car setup may not make him feel as comfortable in those tight positions. Dion keeps ahead again. Let's follow again on Dion's rear bumper. Oh, Dion, a lot of trouble wiggling around. He may have a very, very low amount of downforce on that car. Just sliding back and forth. I've got a note here from driver Gons, says that he broke his car twice. Goodness, Gons. Most drivers can only make it once before they DNF. Good on you for trying and going back out. That's the FP spirit that I like to see. Whoa, Dion with another big wiggle coming out of the turn 10 hairpin. Looks like he's begun to pull away from Bacon. Bacon perhaps trying to pull back, let those tires return to their optimal pressures. He was really putting the pressure on there. Got some movement up in the upper part of the field. Let's go over to second place as Thomas Jack and Letra Sloth are now close and jockeying for position. Tom may have just made a strong move on Sloth and just pulled away. It looked like he may have taken the position. I was not keeping a close eye on the scoreboard up there. Meanwhile, with these two fighting, we have Darkius slowly working his way back in. You can see him in the back of the frame there. If those two start to fight, they'll slow down, and Darkius will be able to take full advantage of these guys. Meanwhile, up at the front, Milt's still running a very, very strong race. He has retaken first position after the first couple of laps and not looked back. He is up about 6 seconds over Tom Jack in second and is still running faster laps than those guys. A little bit of a slide through turn 2, but you know what? That just might be the fastest way around the track if that's what Milt's doing. Take note, competitors. Let's bounce back to that battle for second and third place. Looks like a second gap has opened up between Tom and Letra Sloth. Only another 2 seconds or so back to Darkius. We'll absolutely need to keep an eye on this no matter where we go. One bobble and either of these guys are in the clutches of the car behind. A little further back, battle for 5th and 6th. We've got Aaron Feedlack slowly reeling in Suicidal Cookie. We've got some action here. What's going on here? Deep cuts. Deep cuts is slow again. Another moment. So it hasn't cost him a position, but it has cost him lots of time. And now he is back in the pack with Full Steam Racing. Train Boy and Trev Hummer now in the picture. And back behind Trev, we have Chiba and Subnai also getting close together. The mid-pack, a bit of jostling again like we were expecting in the pre-race. Hold on here. We've got another DNF now. Dion we saw battling earlier, has DNF'd. Not certain what the if there was an incident or if we had another situation where we had an over rev and the engine gave out, but he's out of the race as well. The newbie makes a move. Oh, and we got a couple of cars off the track here. One of the red cats, that's Luna Moon, and the newbie. And I'm not sure if that other red cat behind was involved as well. A couple of cars slow. Luna and Moon and the newbie now fighting for their position, 16th. I hope those cars didn't receive too much damage and make these cars even harder to drive, as Deep Cuts gets overtaken by Train Boy. No, he keeps the position. They are battling side by side here. Looking fast, a bit of a defensive move there by Deep Cuts. He holds the position and pulls ahead now. Train Boy likely won't be taking that sitting down. Let's follow along here. He's hot on Deep Cuts' trail. Oh, and Train Boy really trying to get the power down to keep up with Deep. He brushes the wall there. Going through turns 6, I'm sorry, that's not 6 and 7, that's 8 and 9. Train Boy's got the slipstream on Deep Cuts. Deep Cuts going defensive into the hairpin turn 10. Hard braking. Train Boy goes a little wide. He's going to cut back on Deep. A little bit of a wiggle getting that power down. They are about neck and neck pace-wise. Let's see if Train Boy can get the slipstream and make a move before the turn 13 chicane. He's gaining with the slipstream. Oh, a little bit of lag there almost caused a collision. Deep takes the defensive line. Train Boy goes around the outside. He's gotten ahead. Yes, it looks like. Yes, okay. Yes, Deep Cuts has allowed Train Boy to have the position into turn 13 to prevent a big crash. Oh, but here comes Deep Cuts back, responding, making a late inside move into turn 1. They both have to slow. Train Boy with a blow of the horn, as trains do. Look out for traffic. And Train Boy is able to take the position back. Very good racing by both guys. A little bit strong into turn 1, I think, but they're making the best of it. Hey, Husky, thanks for stopping in. Sorry you had to DNF, my buddy. Oh, Train Boy with a slide. A big slide through the turn 6, I think that was. And now Deep Cuts again making a move. I think he's going to clear him. Train Boy really lost some momentum with that big slide. Yep, going through turns 8 and 9. Train Boy right on the rear of Deep Cuts again. He is close, right on the diffuser. He's going to make a move. Deep Cuts doesn't go defensive. Train Boy goes to the inside for the hairpin. Strong on the brakes. He does a good job not to lock up. He did the braking there perfectly. And a strong move to get past Deep Cuts. Train Boy might be ahead now, but Deep Cuts has the slipstream. He's going to make another move coming back. Let's follow along with Deep Cuts. Good camera work as he pulls to the outside, coming into the hairpin, or not the hairpin, the chicane, turn 13. Train Boy cuts hard over the chicane. Deep goes sideways on the exit. And Train Boy again able to hold the position. Subnai gets ahead for 12th spot over Chiba, who I think I saw having a bit of a moment with the chicane at turn 13 and 14. I don't want to pull away from this battle. It's been a great one. But since there is a little bit of space, we're going to pull up to the battle for second place. We have Tom, Jack, Letrasloth, and Darkius all getting close together here. Just as I pull over here to the battle, Jack gets a bump in the rear from Letrasloth. Sloth really, his car upset by that contact, Darkiest, the big benefactor from that contact, he slips right up into second place. And now quite ahead of Tom Jack and Letra Sloth. And now Letra Sloth not far from Cookie and Feedlack. And just as we pulled away to see this action, ooh, what a slide out of that turn, Deep Cuts makes another move to get back ahead of Train Boy. These two have been at it non-stop for the last 3 laps, trading positions, it seems like every lap. Deep Cuts gets a strong exit out of the turn 10 hairpin. It's going to be tough for Train Boy to be able to get enough slipstream to catch up here. We're going to pull back. Subnai has also caught up here to Trev Hunter. Let's see what Subnai's watching. We can see all 3 of the cars ahead from this view. Deep Cuts and Train Boy going through the chicane, then Trev, then Subnai. All 4 making it through quite cleanly. All right, let's pull back up to the battle for 9th. Deep Cuts and Train Boy. Deep Cuts going into turn 2 here with Train Boy taking a peek around the outside. That's a very, very long turn, almost impossible to make a move around the outside. But Train Boy, super close. Turn 3 and 4. These two battling have brought Trev Hunter and Subnai back into the picture as well. If they continue to struggle with one another, they might end up under attack themselves from others. Going through turns 8 and 9. Deep Cuts looking quite composed, but Train Boy right on the back of Deep Cuts. He must have had a great exit there. Deep Cuts goes defensive into the turn 10 hairpin. Train Boy goes wide on entry, trying to cut back for maximum speed down the long Casino Straight. If we've seen it once, we've seen it 1,000 times. Let's follow along with Train Boy. Is he close enough to get that slipstream? He is awful close, but he has a long distance to make up here. I think I can see him making up a little bit of time. Deep Cuts going defensive. Oh, and Train Boy. Oh, no. And Train Boy makes contact with Deep Cuts. Oh, and Deep Cuts gets hit by the other Full Steam Racing. Oh, Trev gets into... Oh, man. Oh, what an incident. Trev Hummer able to be getting going again. It looks like Train Boy bumped into the back of Deep Cuts, who probably had to brake a little bit earlier than expected for his defensive line. And Deep Cuts, sliding through the chicane, turn 13, ended up stopped near the racing line. Trev Hunter not able to avoid him, and a big collision between the two. Looks like both cars are able to continue racing. Not sure how strongly that damage is going to be affecting the vehicles. I see a bit of a wiggle from Train Boy. Perhaps that front arrow has been affected from the punch into the back of Deep Cuts' car. We're going to pull around here to the... There's a battle occurring for 5th and 6th place. We've got Suicidal Cookie and Aaron Feedlack growing closer and closer. There's also a battle for 16th place, Luna Moon and the Newbie 10. The Red Cat Racing ahead here in 16th. Just over Newbie, as my scoreboard indicates Deep Cuts has gotten ahead of Train Boy. I believe Train Boy was giving the position back after the punt. A very gentlemanly move to continue the battle that they have been raging as Train Boy takes a peek at the inside. A quick sorry about that. Right back to business. Train Boy gets his nose ahead. Pulls right in front of Deep Cuts. Deep Cuts pulls into the inside. Looks inside. Doesn't have the momentum to go through. He's going to follow Train Boy back through. These two have had nearly identical pace throughout the day as they've been together, and the battle has been great. Newbie and Luna Moon having a trade of positions. Oh, and Newbie almost got the power down there to get a nice cut back in. But it looks like Luna Moon's going to hold that position as Chiba drops a couple of positions to Trev and Grimloki. Just about 12 minutes left in this race. Milt still with a strong lead. He is 10 seconds over second place Darkius. Darkius making a very strong recovery after a jump start penalty, forcing him to drive through the pits. I think this is about as good of a race as you can expect after an incident such as that. Newbie and Luna Moon again back at it. Newbie 10 up ahead of Luna Moon now. Does Luna Moon have a response? While we're watching this battle, an update on Train Boy and Deep Cuts battle. Train Boy has pulled ahead almost a full second of Deep Cuts. Perhaps Deep Cuts has had a wiggle. And Luna Moon takes a moment to look inside. I think he may have locked up a wheel as Darkius comes by to lap these two. That is going to interrupt this battle. Luna Moon and Newbie 10 will keep an eye on this battle, as well as all the others. Lots of good battles emerging as the race has progressed. Tom, Jack, and Letra Sloth qualified identical times for today's race, and they have been near each other since the drop of the green flag. Jack and Letra Sloth have been at lowest 4th place, so they are battling. It looks like Jack is going defensive. Oh, he lets Letra Sloth by. I wonder if perhaps that damaged nose is really slowing him down and he can make better time. Better time behind the car ahead. But I did see a flash of the brake light as well going down the straight. Perhaps these two were battling and had a bump together, and they can't quite agree on who was at error, and we're both trying to give some space back. Just behind these two, another battle that's been not quite as intense as the Deep Cuts Train Boy battle, but has been close for what seems like the latter half of the race so far, has been the Suicidal Cookie and Aaron Feedlack battle for 5th place. Cookie and Feedlack have been close for what seems like the entire race as well. We've been running through the running order for the most part, so let's continue to go through it. In 7th place, as we stand, we have Jort with the Penguin Virtuosos. He's sort of on an island by himself, 9 seconds behind the car ahead. Even further back, we have Sench with the Waifu Hunters. He is on an even larger island. It's 10 seconds either way to the next vehicle. 9th place, we have Subnai with IPOS. 10th place, we've got Train Boy, who has pulled 2 seconds now on Deep Cuts. Looks like they've finally been able to settle that battle, and he's been able to break the slipstream. Deep Cuts with Spectre Racing down to 11th. We've got Grime Loki, the Red Cats in 12th. Chiba in 13th place. Trev Hunter in the pits. Not sure what he's doing in the pits. Perhaps he did not bring enough fuel. These cars are consuming more fuel than previous season. Another way to get the drivers off guard perhaps may have caught Trev Hunter out. While in the pits, Transvacanus has taken over 14th place. 15th still Trev Hummer. 16th, we've got the Newbie 10. as he lets one of the IPOS drivers by. Luna Moon and the Newbie 10 have been having a good battle this race. It looks like they may be dealing with the leaders coming through and lapping them. Luna Moon, oh, with a big moment there. A big moment with cars all around. It looks like Newbie, oh, the Newbie 101 also having a bit of an issue there. He has stopped on the track and returned to the pits. Not quite sure what happened there. He is going immediately in the pits. Perhaps he ran out of fuel as well. That's going to bounce him back. William in 17th and Squid 23. They're making a move around to one of the Coopy cars. The hairpin in 19th. We have 4 other competitors that have retired from the event. Dion Gons, Jarkon, and Husky. And with 6:35 and 1 lap left, Milt has pushed even further to almost 12 seconds ahead of Darkius. I don't think anyone's going to be able to catch him. It's his race to lose at this point. Things have settled back down. Got some space between most of our front runners and mid-pack. Follow along with some of the lead pack as they get through some of our lapped cars. But as I say that, Trev Hunter makes a move on Transbaconist. Oh, and Trev spins! Trev spins. Oh, he looks like he lucks out. He may have had a little contact with Transbaconist after the spin, but he's able to get pointed in the right direction and continue on. Remember, Trev had to pull into the pits. We're only speculating as to perhaps a fuel shortage or perhaps some other issue. But once he stopped and continued on, he had lost a position to Bacon, was getting ready to make that move back to gain that position back. And in 3 and 4, that really aggressive right-left, he just went over the curb a little too hard. It upset the rear and spinning right next to the wall. As you can see, another moment of oversteer. It looks like he's really digging hard to make up that time lost for the time in the pits. Oh, and there's Bacon going wide into the hairpin. Drivers are having to go so slow through that hairpin. It's very tight. And then we've got Chiba. Chiba in the pits. Our 13th place driver in the pits. That might cost him some positions as well. Transbaconist is the one to benefit from that, but he is far enough behind that he may not even be able to catch up here. Not sure if drivers are considering the one stop as the ultimate strategy. Most drivers still sticking with the no stop. I'm seeing a lot of drivers in the pits. I'm going to guess, we'll have to confirm in the interviews at the end of the event. Perhaps everyone was expecting the fuel burn to be the same as last year. Cars this season burning almost twice as much fuel to get around for a 45-minute race. Drivers were packing around 28 liters of fuel last season. Now almost 50 to make it for the event here, as Trev is able to make it past Transbaconist here for 14th position. Trev and Bacon now trying to catch Chiba after he's come out of the pits. Three minutes and 15 seconds plus 1 lap. Here left in the event, time winding down. Let's pull back up to the battle for 5th and 6th. Cookie and Aaron Fiedlak, as Bacon goes a little wide here into the hairpin, letting his Coopy teammate by. Cookie and Fiedlak have been roughly within a second for the majority of this race. I think it goes to show that both of these drivers have been very consistent so far in the race, at least in comparison to one another. Oh, as Cookie goes hard into the chicane there. 13 and 14, absolutely sideways. Looks like he got the braking a little bit wrong there, but it didn't seem to cost him too much time. He did run a lap about 4/10 slower than Fiedler behind him, and then he does look uncomfortable again going into turn 2, perhaps near the end of this race, tires beginning to become a factor. Those little downforce as you're trying to run for these cars, perhaps trying to minimize rear downforce, has been lighting up these rear tires and putting some extra wear on them. Cookie coming up to one of the full steam racing cars. I believe that is Trev. Yes, that's Trev Hunter. Trev's going to let them go here. Blue flag for Trev. Cookie and Aaron about 6/10 apart here. Trev takes the racing line through there, splits up these two. That might increase the gap a little bit. Indeed, it looks like a 10th, maybe 2 added on, almost a full second between the two now. The ebb and flow of this battle has been an interesting one to keep an eye on. Aaron, no doubt, giving everything he has to try to keep up with Cookie, get into that slipstream, anything. If he can get within about 4/10 of a second, the slipstream gets very strong there. But whenever I've kept an eye on this battle, it's always been somewhere between 6/10 and 1 second. Let's see if Cookie can make it through the chicane here without incident. Much cleaner this time, looking a lot better. These cars do have adjustable brake bias. Perhaps he was able to make a small adjustment to the brake bias to prevent the rear end from sticking out like it did in the previous lap. Take a peek up at second and third place as... Oh, hold on. We've got an issue here. 7th place Jort has spun in the turn 2 Senna turn. That's cost him some time, but it seems to have not cost him a position. Either way, we have reached the end of regulation for this race. Next time the leader, Milt, takes the start-finish line will be the white flag. Milt coming through the turn 10 hairpin down the long casino straight. He will be taking the white flag. And you'd think with such a strong lead that Milt might be taking it easy. That lead has built up to over 16 seconds. If in fact he is taking it easy, then I think this race was his from the drop of the green flag, bringing the best setup, the strongest setup, and well, perhaps the best driver as well. Over the start-finish line for the final lap. Milt has got this one in the bag. We're going to bounce back to second place. Darkius and Letra Sloth growing a bit closer than the last time I looked. It was about 2 seconds, about 10 to 15 minutes ago between these two. Letra Sloth driving a 149.7, Darkius with a 150.7, 1 second slower and less than 1 second between the two. And just behind them for 5th place, Aaron Fiedler has finally caught up with Suicidal Cookie and has been able to get by Cookie, absolutely doing everything he can. Car all over the track to try to get that position back. And it's just upset the car. He's not able to stick with Aaron. What persistence. A great drive by Aaron so far. An absolutely great overtake. Excellent, excellent driving. We're going to bounce back up to the battle for second. Perhaps this is why Milt has been able to pull ahead. I don't know if these two have been closer than expected, but Darkius and Letra Sloth, 5/10 separate these guys. Oh, that may have been a little... No, that wasn't a little lag. Darkius slaps the wall coming through over the bridge. That's going to slow him down. Letra Sloth trying to make the move. He's got the inside to the turn 10 hairpin. He's got a nose ahead. They go into the braking zone. Darkius around the outside. It's going to be hard for him to hang around there. Letra Sloth completes the move. Darkius is going to pull right in. Yes, he is. And he's going to try to get that slipstream down the long Casino Straight. This is the battle for second place, the final lap. A long, long run. Darkius, he wanted the inside, but Letra Sloth pulls to defend. He's got such momentum that he might have the move made here into the chicane. Here they go into the chicane, and my goodness, what a gap had formed from that slipstream. Darkius able to take the spot back on the last lap. And speaking of taking the spot back on the last lap, Cookie and Aaron side by side coming through the chicane. Aaron's able to make a better exit. Cookie really laying on that pressure. Almost got by Aaron at the very end, at the final turn. And what a move at the end there. Cookie with a congratulations bump. What a good move by Aaron. I think that's a very, very good finish there. Congrats to Aaron. We're going to follow along here. Here comes Cinch in 8th place. Cleanly through the chicane, really using up that room. Subnai in 9th place. He's coming to the chicane as well. All right, nice and easy. Boy, the front of that car has seen some damage. Subnai, I believe, was in one of the incidents early in the race that involved a couple of cars. Subnai's going to complete the race and take home 9th. Train Boy with a 10th place finish, and that's one he's got to be proud of. Oh, as he celebrates with a high-speed crash. Deep Cuts has really fallen back after the battle between Train Boy and Deep Cuts. That was an excellent battle that raged on for several minutes with tons of back and forth passing. Deep Cuts takes home 11th. Grime Loki with the Red Cats coming in to complete his lap for 12th place. And he'll get through there with no problems. See Chiba coming in with one of the other Red Cats here. Chiba going very slowly. Not sure if he was perhaps a lap down and he's completing his end lap. I think that's what's going on. So we have all of the competitors finished with their race. Your top 3 today, Milt, Darkius, and Letra Sloth. We're going to set up some interviews here, see if we can talk with a couple of our top finishers and anyone else that, the crowd wants to talk with. Viewers, put in your requests now if you have someone you'd like to have me ask some questions to. All right, we're going to await some of these drivers to finish up coming out of their vehicles and meet with me here in the commentary booth. Luxury Guns, thanks again for the for sticking by and watching the race. Better luck next time, Gons, with your vehicle. These new vehicles, the new regulations, it's hard for the teams to build the best car. Some teams have seen more success than others. Maybe your mechanics can get the car that you need to see success on the track for next race. Let's see, while we're waiting, am I even allowed to drag people? I am. I'm going to bring Train Boy in for an interview as well. He and Deep Cut's battle was the most entertaining part of this race, I think. Yeah, in fact, it looks like Milt is finally available for his interview. We're going to pull him in here.
Oh.
Hey, Milt. All right. Congratulations on the big win here in Canada. How are you feeling?
Pretty good, mate. That feels really good. The first couple of laps were a bit tense with the battling with Sloth Dark and Thomas. But after that, I think, I got the luck to be able to drive away, I guess.
There was definitely a lot of fun action to watch at the very beginning. Um, we were a little worried that it was going to be a big fight for the whole way, but once you got your nose ahead, you definitely laid on the speed and built a nice gap up. Um,
Thanks.
yeah, you did
Yeah.
a great job. Um, how do you feel like your team's going to be doing this season after a good start like this?
It feels really good. I think the team, Jordan and I, we did a great preparation with building a setup in which I think we are a slight step ahead of others, maybe. We'll have to see how it converts over to Watkins Glen next. But it's definitely a good start. I really like it.
Very good. And you mentioned Watkins Glen. That is the next race for viewers to tune into on February 6th. Do you have much experience at Watkins Glen? How do you feel about the track?
I do know the track quite a bit. I've raced it before in AC. Although in AC before, I think I've done the no boot variant. I think with Formula Pals we're gonna do the full one, so it will have a bit of track I'm not familiar with, but that's fine. We all have to learn then. Watkins Glen, I'm quite curious about how setup converting over to another track will go. If arrow settings might differ, if they might be better in some places, we'll see. I'm very excited to find that out.
Well, myself and the viewers are definitely interested to see how the setup takes part into it now, with it being even more important here in Formula Pals. Milt, congratulations again. Thanks for talking with us.
Thank you, mate. Thanks for the stream. I'm sure it was great, and I'm gonna watch it all back.
Thank you. All right, everyone, that was your race winner, Milt. We are going to move in our second place finisher, Darkius. Alrighty, hey Darkius, congratulations on the second place. Things started off really on a tough start there for you with the jump start. That was something that wasn't a part of Formula Pals last year, and it really caught 2 or 3 drivers off there.
Yeah, I just wasn't expecting it. As soon as it happened, I was like, "Oh no, this just happened." And then I pressed the brakes, but obviously once it happens, you're going to get a drag through. So I decided to do it as early as possible, get out of the way, and then proceed with coming back. And I got a bit of luck. And yeah, thanks to all the people who weren't staying in the way too much, both the back markers and people who were battling. We made it okay.
It was good fun to watch your push through the field to make it back up to second place. I think that's a result you can be absolutely proud of. That last lap battle with Letra Sloth was really something. Take us through that.
Yeah, so I didn't see him really coming that quickly. I was kind of taking it easy because I thought the race was ending, and then weirdly the display was saying leader has 2 more laps to go when it should have said 1 more lap. So all of a sudden I was like, oh crap, I need to push, But luckily I still had a bit of tires to keep pushing. But at one moment at I think it's the second chicane, the one before the last hairpin, I was really looking at the apex trying to take all the space so I could have the best exit, and I just hit the wall on the left with my wheel, and I just had to cut across the corner. I still lost time, and in fact I gave him the position. But I don't know what happened there on the last straight. I don't know if he gave me the position or he just saw that I was going to draft him and there was no way around it. And yeah, so it was a bit of a blessing in disguise. But yeah, it was fun. I really enjoyed catching up to Thomas, Jack, and Lecher Sloth. That was a really good one.
And the next Formula Pals race is going to be at Watkins Glen in the U.S. With setups, with so many new options available for the new Formula Pals. How confident do you feel that you'll be able to find a fast and useful setup at Watkins Glen?
Well, yeah, now with these new Formula Pals, like there's a lot more work that you can do to be faster, and you can see who has done the work by looking at the positions. I'm lucky. I really got lucky because somebody else has done the work, and I was able to capitalize on it, but I still had to adjust it for myself. But it looks like Mills has not only practiced and is the quickest driver, but he's also seems to have found an extra few tenths in the setup. So it's gonna be really hard to catch him this season, I think. But I think we're still gonna have a good battle between the few of us. Maybe Tom and Will. Will being the winner of last season, I think he's going to be he's going to keep catching us up.
Well, Dark, congrats again on the second place. A great drive to recover after the early penalty. Congrats again. Thanks for stopping by and talking with us.
Yeah, thank you, Jaker, and thanks for doing the commentary. And yeah, cheers, man.
All right, that was Darkius, your second place finisher. I'm not able to reach Letcher Sloth for third place, but I am able to reach Trainboy to get him in here and talk about that battle. So here he comes. Hello, Trainboy. Thank you for joining us for a quick interview.
Hello, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Myself and the viewers really appreciated the long, drawn-out battle that you and Deep Cuts were having in the midpoint of the race. It felt like every lap you guys were passing each other back and forth for position. It was such a great battle. Tell me about that.
It was just one of those battles where one person makes a mistake, they drop back, the person gets past them, and it was just a back and forth, just bounce back and forth. It was like tennis, basically. Best analogy I could put it as. It was tennis.
Well, it was certainly great to watch. We were surprised that through the battling that your teammate and Chiba, who were just behind, didn't bounce in and play the waiting game for you guys to slow each other up. How would that have changed the battle if there were more cars competing for the position?
I mean, I think Deep and I had the pace over both of them to just keep them at bay as like all of it was going down, and it worked out in that way that it helped both of us, that we just had that little extra like 0.5 of a second over the both of them.
We saw at one point in the battle that there was a little bit of a bump to Deep Cuts, it looked like. Any comment on that?
Truly, I think it was a little bit of netcode, because I swore I was like maybe a meter or two behind him for me, and then all of a sudden it was a tap, and I'm just like, wait. So it's just netcode. You just gotta get used to it. Just gotta get through it. I gave him the position back, and I hope there was no hard feelings.
Gotcha. And then next Formula Pals race is at Watkins Glen. Are you comfortable at that track, and how have you been finding setting up the new car?
I was actually listening on the last interview, and Dark was talking about Milt. Milt has told me that he has found a little loophole in the setup. So I was trying to look for that too. I think I might have found it, but I'm not going to say for sure. I do have to say, consistent Steve was incredible during the race. I just wish I could have gotten a better start with the whole jump start problem.
Did you have to serve a drive-through as well? I know Darkius also got affected by the jump start, which
yeah. It was like the fourth light. I tapped the upshift paddle, and it just went. I was like, wait, oh, you gotta be kidding me. I was not happy about it, because I was just like, they didn't tell us that they would change that, because they had it like that since forever on here, so I was not prepared for that. So now that I know that, it's better. I'm better off.
Very good. Well, Trainboy, thanks for talking with us. Congrats again on your hard-fought top 10 finish. We'll see you again at Watkins Glen.
See you, man. Have a good one.
All right. I'm going to check and see if there's any additional interview requests. I'm not seeing any in the chat. So at this point, I am going to conclude the stream. Thanks again for watching. Congrats again to all the Formula Pals drivers for participating, and again to Milt for winning today's race, the Canadian Grand Prix. We will be streaming again here in 2 weeks, I believe. Let me double check that date. On February 6th at Watkins Glen. Same cars, different track. And we'll be in for another great time. So thanks again for stopping in, watching the racing. Hope you had a great time. We'll see you then.